In the world of PC gaming, a new kind of Scarlet Letter has emerged. It's a small, unassuming tag on a Steam store page that says AI generated content disclosure. To some, it's a mark of innovation. To others, it's a warning sign to stay far, far away. For the last 2 years, this tag has been a source of pure chaos. But as of January 16th, 2026, the rules of the game have changed. Valve has officially overhauled the AI disclosure system. They are moving away from the one-size-fits-all panic and toward a system that finally distinguishes between a developer using a coding assistant to fix a bug and a developer using a prompt to generate their entire art style. It's a move that has developers breathing a sigh of relief while simultaneously putting a target on the back of anyone trying to stealth AI into their game. Today, we are diving into the technical reality of this new Steam disclosure, why the industry is actually celebrating this change, and how this shift is going to decide which games thrive and which ones die in the AI era. Now, to understand why this matters, we have to look at the actual text Valve just released to developers. In this look of the new Steamworks disclosure form compared to the previous disclosure form before this change, Valve makes a massive admission. They state, "We are aware that many modern game development environments have AI-powered tools built into them." They go on to clarify that efficiency gains from these tools are not what they want to track. This is the workflow versus assets distinction. For a long time, there was a gray area. If a programmer used GitHub Copilot to help write a complex inventory system, did that count as AI usage? Under the old vague rules, many devs felt they were one step away from a mandatory disclosure for just doing their jobs. Valve is now explicitly stating that code helpers or workflow tools are a pass. They aren't consumed by players in a way that affects the artistic soul of the game. The disclosure only kicks in when the AI touches what you see and hear. If a machine generated the voice of your NPC or the texture on a wall, Valve is telling a developer to check yes and describe how that AI is used in a text box that appears directly on the store page. This is peak transparency. It doesn't ban the practice altogether, it just ensures that you, the buyer, knows exactly where the machine ends and the human begins. By clarifying that workflow doesn't need a tag, Valve is letting professional teams use modern tech without the stigma, while keeping the transparency where it counts: the art, the music, and the story. But why did Valve feel the need to clarify this now? It's because the tools used to build games have fundamentally changed. This isn't just about a few indie devs. By mid-2025, data showed that nearly 20% of all new games landing on Steam were disclosing some form of AI. If Valve didn't act now, the AI tag would have become a permanent fixture on the entire front store page, rendering it useless. They had to save the tag's meaning before it was too late, and you just saw it on every single game. If you open Unreal 5 today, you're looking at an AI powerhouse. Features that used to take a team of 20 people months to complete can now be done by one person in an afternoon. Take the in-editor AI assistant, or the many other features Unreal has been adding. In 2026, over 50% of game studios are already using generative AI in their daily pipeline. Whether it's the GitHub Copilot writing the math for a character's jump height, or the MLD former, AI is no longer a niche feature, but is becoming increasingly popular for developers to use. Without this new change, the AI tag on Steam would have become somewhat meaningless if a developer has to flag their game as AI generated, because at a certain point, every game would just become an AI game. So by separating these workflow tools from assets, Valve is acknowledging the reality of 2026, and that's professional developers use these tools to keep up with the ballooning costs of AAA development. But here's the part that should satisfy any of you who are worried about developers lying on these forums. If you are playing a game that uses live generated AI, you can pull up the Steam overlay at any second and report illegal content directly to Valve. It's also worth noting that Valve still has a very hard no in one specific area, and that's live generated sexual content. While they are opening the doors for AI in almost every other game, they are staying far away from uncensored live AI in adult games. They know the technology is too unpredictable, and they aren't willing to risk the platform's reputation on a chatbot that might go off the rails. Even in 2026, there are still some lines that AI can't cross on Steam. But now, let's talk about why this disclosure actually matters for the games you are playing. A lot of people think an AI tag is an automatic death sentence, but the reality of the last year has shown us something different. We are entering an era of survival of the fittest. Take Arc Raiders from Embark Studios. They were incredibly transparent. Their Steam page explicitly states that they use AI-based tools to assist them with content creation. They've been open about using text-to-speech for their ping systems. People still want to play it because the quality is there. Players saw that the AI was being used to enable complex features rather than just to replace human artists. They didn't hide it, and the community respected the honesty to the point it became a top 12 game in terms of revenue for 2025. Now contrast that with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. When Activision was caught using AI for calling cards, the backlash was brutal. It wasn't just because AI is bad, it was because it felt like a multi-billion-dollar company was cutting corners. It just felt like corporate slop. In the case of Arc Raiders, AI was a tool for innovation. In Black Ops 7, it was seen as a shortcut for greed. But now, looking at these comments from industry veterans about this new change, a clear theme emerges. Sabine van der Linden calls this a thoughtful middle ground because it kills the need for shadow usage. As Stefan, the founder of 81 Monkeys, points out, these new guidelines are clear enough and simple to follow. By giving developers a safe harbor for their coding tools, Valve is essentially saying we will stop bothering you about your workflow if you promise to be honest about your assets. So where does this leave us in the long run? We are seeing a new market emerge, and that's the handmade game. Much like organic or non-GMO labels in a grocery store, AI-free is becoming a premium marketing term. Look at publishers like Hooded Horse, the team behind Manor Lords. They have taken a hard line, no AI stance, stating that if they are publishing the game, there will be no AI assets, period. In a world where Steam is now asking for these disclosures, the absence of that tag becomes a powerful selling point. When you see a game without it, you would know that every texture, every line of dialogue, and every music track was crafted by a human being. But not everyone thinks this matters. Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, famously doubled down on his criticism of these labels late last year. He argued that since AI will eventually be involved in nearly all production, these tags make no sense for game stores. He even mocked the idea of transparency, joking that we might as well have mandatory disclosures for what shampoo brand the developer uses. However, Valve's own developers aren't staying silent. I.e. Sanchez, an artist at Valve, countered this by saying that an AI tag isn't a shampoo disclosure, it's actually just an ingredient list. He argued that consumers deserve the information to decide if they want to support cultural laundering and slopification. In his words, the only people afraid of this are the ones that know their product is low effort. This is why the 2026 rule change is so strategic. By stripping the AI tag requirement away from workflow tools, the coding assistants, and background efficiency boosters, Valve has effectively neutered Tim Sweeney's argument. They've acknowledged that AI is part of the modern toolbox, but they are drawing a line in the sand at the output. Ultimately, Valve is in a pretty tough position. They have to support developers who use these tools to survive rising costs, but they also have to protect consumers who don't want to be sold a fake product. This updated policy is the most mature attempt we've seen yet to balance these needs. It ensures that the human-only games are able to stand out in the future while letting the professional teams innovate in the background with the tools they want. But I want to hear from you. Does this distinction between coding tools and generated art make sense to you as a player? Or do you want to know if even a single line of code was suggested by an AI? Make sure you subscribe to stay updated on all news for Steam.